Welcome to Titan PI TV, where we're looking at the inside workings of a live operational investigation agency, that being here, Titan in Derby. I am your host and Managing Director of Titan Private Investigation Ltd, Simon Henson. Don't forget, if you prefer to listen to podcast, you can download Titan PI TV podcast wherever you download your podcasts. So what are we going to look at today on this windy Friday afternoon? It's wet as well. We're going to look at missing persons, or as the UK police will call it, MISPER, short for missing person. So missing persons, we deal with them day in, day out. We deal with all types of demographic who might go missing. So the first thing you need to do, if a family member or someone you know goes missing, is ring the police. It's really important to do this. And when you ring the police, they will categorise this as either low, medium or high risk. If it's high risk, the definition of that would be there's risk of serious harm, which has been assessed as very likely. So that might be through age. It might be someone that's very young, someone that's very old. It could be someone that's mentally unstable or has mental health issues previously. It could be that they need medicines, and without those medicines, they are going to struggle to survive. For example, they might have quite severe asthma and they haven't left with their asthma inhalers. It could be that the risk comes from the person they're believed to be with. So we had one last week where a person had gone missing, is out of character, they were 17, and it's believed they were missing with someone that's wanted for a serious offence. And they couldn't be got hold of on their telephone, and the missing person was texting through Messenger and social media to friends saying she'll ring when she can. So that was high in that scenario. And if it is classed as high, the police have more powers available, one of which is cell site analysis, which is triangulating the signal from a mobile telephone from the masts and being able to find exactly or pinpoint exactly where that phone is. It might be that the telephone's turned off, but they'll be able to tell you what time the telephone was turned off and what the location was at that time. However, the police can be quite slow. So the one we dealt with last week, which was classed as high, the perception of our client, who was the parents of the missing person, the 17-year-old, their perception was over the 48 hours the police had done nothing. I imagine the police had been doing things in the background, and it was probably just poor communication, and nothing was being communicated back. So they were thinking nothing's being done. So they called us. And this is where, if you think nothing's being done, call a private investigator. Make sure that you're calling the right private investigator though. Make sure, do some due diligence. Make sure that they are in an institute or an association. Make sure they are a limited company, and if they are a limited, that they are registered on Companies House and they haven't been going dissolving those companies and then reopening another. So you can do a little bit of due diligence, because it is a bit of a minefield, or you could just ring Titan, because we are legitimate, we've been around a long time. So what we will ask from you is an image of the person who's missing. We will ask you their description, so hair colour, build, do they look like the photo that you've supplied? How old is that photo if not? We'll want the last known description, what they were wearing. And that is crucial at this point, because one of the first things we're going to do, if we know that they haven't, or we suspect that they haven't got access to a wardrobe, one of the first things we will do is ask you questions around what's their routine. Do they frequent certain places at certain times of the day? If so, where are those locations? And what we can do, and maybe the police haven't got the resources to do when they're stretched, is to be able to deploy surveillance operatives in those key areas to see if we can get any sightings. And when we've got those sightings, we can deploy a covert surveillance. We can ring the police with the incident number, we'll be armed with that, and then hopefully the police will come and speak and do a safe and well check with that missing person to make sure that they are safe and well, or to return them home if they're a minor. Other things that we may do is the last sighting, the last positive sighting of the missing person. We will go to that location and do a CCTV trawl. And it might be that we're able to gain the CCTV. It can be quite difficult though, now GDPR has come in. It's been in a few years now. Certainly large chains like pubs and hotels will only give CCTV to the police if they have the correct paperwork in relation to data protection. So they won't give a private investigator CCTV, but smaller places like corner shops, for example, might be a privately owned small car dealership. As long as it's not a huge chain that's going to be bound in red tape and policy as regards to GDPR because they're worried about being sued, then we can get that. Other things we can do is we can liaise with the police. Now, the police aren't always 100% happy working with a PI, but some forces and some officers, they look at it and think, well, the client's paying for the resources, we haven't got those resources, so let's work with a private investigator and let's see if they can do some of the legwork for us, which we're more than happy to do and report back. So we can work with the police, but to work with the police, we would need your permission and you would need to relay that to them. We might be able to do covert observations. So in the example I gave from last week, the high-risk missing person was believed to be staying or in the custody associating with someone that's wanted for a serious offence. That person was believed to be living at their mother's. So one of the actions that we were going to do was to deploy 2 surveillance operatives to do covert surveillance on that address to see if we can get a positive sighting of the missing person. It might be that we only see the person that the missing person is believed to be associated with. So if that is the case, we might make the decision to put them under surveillance and impose surveillance on them to see where they lead us to. So those are a couple of the ways that we can help you. Each case is completely bespoke, but I just need to mention, because we get asked this all the time, we can't hack into phones and we can't do cell site tracking or location, so triangulating to try and find the location of a telephone. We just don't have the powers to do that, we don't have the facilities to do that, and it would be highly illegal. But we do get asked to do it an awful lot, but it's just not possible. That's why you need the police. So it might be that the individual keeps going missing. It might be that they suffer from dementia, which is in the news at the moment. It might be that they have ADHD and they keep running away. So we can make preventative measures. We can provide you with tracking devices which can be sewn into coats. It might be that an old person with dementia, not that everyone with dementia is old, but it might be that someone with dementia always takes their keys with them. So we could put a tracking device on their keys, just so you're aware that they're safe and well and you know where they are. So give us a call if you have any questions in regards to missing persons. Hopefully you'll never need that service, but if you do, we're certainly here to help and we're experienced in it. So that's another episode of Titan PI TV. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're now well over 1,000 subscribers and I thank every single one of you for that. Until next time, but don't forget, give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you don't want to miss further episodes, then subscribe to the channel. If you prefer podcast, you can download it wherever you download your podcasts. It's Titan PI TV podcast. Till next time, thank you and look after yourself.